punishing our nation's heroes. The Pentagon demanding thousands of veterans pay back their reenlistment bonuses that they received 10 years ago, leaving a lot of soldiers feeling betrayed by the government. Take a listen.
They turned their backs on me and said, "Oh, thank you for your time and all those years away from your family and multiple separations. But hey, the money is more important to us."
Now, it's Pete Hegseth, a U.S. Army veteran and Fox News contributor. Pete, Susan Haley there paid a huge price. Not only did she go deploy in Afghanistan, her husband did, her son did, and lost a leg in Afghanistan. And now to force her to pay a quarter of her salary to pay back something she was promised seems insane.
It is insane. With all the money we spend in our government, all the waste that we have, all the misplaced priorities, we decide 10 years later to rip money back from vets who signed on the dotted line to serve our country at a time of war for 3 to 6 years on a bonus they believed was to be paid to them forever. And now we decide because of an accounting error or someone that did something wrong at the top, we're going to take money away from her and others. It's an outrage, and that's why I think Congress will and should act quickly to fix this.
And they suspect, they say that they're going to relook at this thing. Of course, it's an election year. They don't want to get caught red-handed in this stuff. But when you pointed to this fact, when contractors screw up, and they do all the time with Pentagon contracts. Remember the $43 million gas station in Afghanistan? I mean, this was an outrage.
Yes.
We never found out who was contracted for that work, and we know that the contractors never paid back a dime. But when it comes to vets who risk their lives for our country, and some of them lose their lives, they have to pay back.
Boy, that's right. There's a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse. We hear it from politicians all the time, but I've been to Iraq, I've been to Afghanistan, I've seen some of these contracts. People are rarely held accountable for what happens on the battlefield, yet when we do an audit later on of these troops, somehow they're made to pay back. This is not small amounts, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, that a recruiter looked them in the eye and said, if you sign on the dotted line, this is yours because we're asking you to do a dangerous job. It is an outrage. It's misplaced priorities. We can save money better elsewhere than stripping it from individuals who served our country.
By the way, you say it was a recruiter. These aren't your typical Army recruiters in uniform. These are bureaucrats who had to fill a quota, and they gave the message. That's why they were put. It's their mistake, not the mistake of the vets who fought and risked their lives.
It's not.
Let me just play one thing, though.
Yeah, you're right.
Let me just play something from Donald Trump, who spoke to this point earlier. Play the tape.
The corrupt system can also force brave National Guardsmen from California to return the bonuses they were promised, something that would never happen under a Trump administration.
Now, how can Donald Trump guarantee that wouldn't happen under his watch?
Well, he can't, but he can guarantee that immediately he would rectify it, that his priorities would be such that the warfighter is going to benefit no matter what, and whoever did it is going to get fired. Civil service laws right now protect bureaucrats in the DOD, VA, across our government who fail. They're never held accountable. The big guys, never. The bureaucrats at the top, never. It rolls downhill. So it's a culture of corruption that prevents real accountability where it needs to happen, and instead the little guy is left holding the bag. So he can't, no one can promise that won't happen, but you can create a culture where you side with the little guy and what they've done as opposed to the corrupt system, which is rigged to protect those at the top.
The little guys are a lot bigger than the bureaucrats in my eyes, and I know in yours as well. Pete, thank you very much. Good.